just like that, we are in Angeles Crest Canyon. It is super quiet up here, even though we're like basically in the city. First things first, we're gonna take the tape off and see what's really going on underneath. Before we do that, we're gonna inspect the car's exterior, make sure there's no damage done. Starting with the hood, we see a couple rock chips right here that the tape actually did protect the car from, which is good. A couple chips right here that broke the tape, but took the tape with it, so there's nothing underneath. As far as the fenders, honestly, this fender looks completely untouched. And this fender has a little chip right there that the tape did protect the car from. We even have a piece of hair, which I'm not even gonna touch that. We work our way to the front bumper. Tiny chip right there, little stuff like that. Definitely was like a rock or something that the tape did protect the car from. Yeah, I mean, this thing really just swallowed a whole bunch of bugs. I mean, there's nothing really sticking out to me that makes me say, hey, this car is damaged. I mean, even rock chips, this tape did a really good job. I'm actually very surprised. As far as how the tape did, I'm gonna go ahead and give it a 10 out of 10 because this is actually crazy. I mean, we haven't taken the tape off yet, but based off what I've seen so far, this is incredible. So now if we move down to the carbon fiber front splitter, so it does look like we have one very tiny chip right there. We have one very small nick right in the corner of the splitter that can be filled in real easy. A rock or something definitely got up in here, and the paint was protected by the tape, which is good. We got a little piece of, I don't know what, styrofoam or something right there. Gonna take that out. So the rear of the car is looking extremely dirty. I mean, just so you guys can get an idea, I don't even want to scrape the paint, but you can just see how much dirt is on the back of this car from running it through the desert. The biggest thing I was probably worried about was the carbon fiber roof. The windshield itself is a-okay, no extra chips or anything out of the norm, and the carbon fiber roof appears to be okay. I mean, we did have that one chip here when I got the car, but there's nothing new. Maybe this very small one right here, that looks maybe new. Wow, carbon fiber roof is still pristine. Man, ladies and gentlemen, I think we did it. We got the car here without any damage done. We did it. It looks exactly how it looked when we left Michigan. Obviously, we have to drive the car, make sure everything's still running properly, but wow, let's just take a second to appreciate that. So we pulled the car off to a more shady spot to pull the tape off, because that sun is beating, man. I'm not used to the sun yet. It's hot. Just like that, got most of the paint off of the M4. Sun just poked out, and the mineral white is looking insane. There's been close to zero damage done on the entire car. Just a couple of rock chips on the splitter, but the actual body itself is flawless since we left Michigan, which is such a blessing. So now we're gonna hop inside the car, see if there's anything different driving wise. Hopefully this car is the exact same as from when we left Michigan. So when we left Michigan, it said I needed to service the oil in about 2,500 miles. When we made it to the destination, it said I needed to service the oil in about 1,000 miles. So I'm guessing the car adapted to how I was driving. My guess is the computer system in the M4 kind of readjusted and basically said I can replace it later because I wasn't driving as hard as I was in Michigan. The car was serviced when I got the car about 2 years ago, and now it says I need to service the brake fluid this month in February 2022. Not that bad. As far as the front and rear brake pads, the wear on them actually barely went down any. So it was at, for rear brake pads, it was at 90,000. it's at 90,000. Now, front brake pads were at 130,000 miles to replacement. It's still at 130,000 miles. Depending on how you're driving, that'll affect obviously different wear items on your car. But for the most part, I was driving this thing pretty tame, and the service required is reflecting that. That being said, there is a slight little bulge in the rear passenger tire. It's very slight, very subtle. Shouldn't be that much of an issue if I had to guess. I think the PSI did touch 40 when we were in the desert because the temperatures got so hot. I think the tires were running around 90 degrees Fahrenheit. So that might be because of that. It also could be because of other things. You guys might have to let me know. So what better way to really test how this car is driving after 2,500 miles than to drive in Angeles Canyons? So we're gonna take it on a fairly spirited drive and see what this thing is working with and see if there's anything out of the norm. Oh my God. Just off first initial impressions, if we just cooled off for a sec, alignment wise, no difference at all. So far, everything seems to be functioning okay. This thing is such a good handling car. So one thing I like to do when I'm testing this kind of stuff is to, get it going spiritedly and then stop the car and see if you smell anything. We're actually going to turn the air vents on blast. Obviously, you want to check for any kind of leaks. You might be able to smell oil, coolant, or any kind of fluid that you shouldn't normally smell whilst driving your car. So right now it smells like nice BMW air freshener, so that's a great sign. I did notice once we got into town, there's this little metallic scraping noise coming from my brakes. It soon went away after about 5 minutes of driving. My guess is it was a rock stuck in the caliper or in the brake system itself and somehow flung its way out. So that's something that's happened to me at least 5 times in the past, even with the E39 M5. Now that hurt. Wow, check out the views here in Southern California. Oh, listen to that. We've got an AWE non-resonated track exhaust. Got that nice bass stage 2 tune from Alpine Motorsport. Wow. And we got 20-inch, 20 by 10 in the front, 20 by 11 in the rear. Beautiful black diamond BD wheels. Come on. Nice V10. Very cool owner. This V10 M5 just stopped by. He's got a nice exhaust on it. Listen to that. Ladies and gentlemen, I think that'll do it for today's video. So make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, check us out on Instagram, and I'll see you guys in the next video.